Welcome into Kelly and Krack. Every single Monday, me, KellyInVegas, and Bill Krackomberger, we sit down and we hang out for like 20, 30 minutes. We just tell gambling stories, talk about Vegas, answer some questions from the audience, and kind of get a little look behind the counter what Krack's looking at for this week, whether it's in college basketball, NFL. We've got the conference championships this weekend in college football. Krack, I wanted to start off with a question that one of our audience members dropped, and I had to laugh because it kind of made me think of you. So if you guys missed the story on an earlier episode of Kelly and Krack, I'm going to give you guys the quick version. About 10 years ago, I'm sitting in the high limit baccarat room. Good friend of mine playing $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 a hand. And he was teaching me how to play bac. And we had played before, but this was like an epic run. Like so much so that he and I, like no one else wanted to touch the cards on the table, nothing. So he gets his cards dealt to him and he stands up from the table. And if you guys have never played baccarat, particularly in the high limit room, there are not a lot of rules. You're allowed to take the cards, you're allowed to rip them, you're allowed to do a lot of things. And he says, Kelly, that's a K9. And he starts barking on his way to the bathroom. He knows it's a king and a 9. And I'm like, all right, whatever you're doing. And he comes back to the table and he's like, hey, why didn't you flip the cards over? Like, that's a winning hand. Flip it over. We won. I mean, we had been waiting for like 3 or 4 minutes. The entire table is sitting there. And we're sitting there, the high limit of the win. And the pit boss is over there and they're watching, they're laughing because he puts on kind of a spectacle, if you will. So long story short, the dogs are barking. My dogs are even barking in real life now in the background. And he's just going at it. And he's like, flip the cards over. I'm like, I'm not touching your cards. So another thing about baccarat is I'm very superstitious. I think a lot of other people sitting at the table are. And he's like, Kelly, flip the cards over. So I flip them over. And of course, it's a K9. He starts barking and running around the room. And he comes up behind me. And I go to hit him, like, get away from me. And instead, I hit a very beautiful glass sculpture that's in the room. So anyway, I tell this story on one of the first episodes of Kelly and Krack. And one of our audience members is like, what happened? Well, what happened was they came over and they picked the glass shards out of my hand, the like EMT, and they're making sure I'm okay. And then we get right back into play. They put some stuff on my hand and we get right back into playing. What do you mean? They don't want to disrupt the guy betting thousands and thousands of dollars a hand. They don't care about that glass sculpture. They have insurance, Krack. And that just to me says that some people can get away with a lot of things. Now, if that was just me, I don't know if I would have been billed for it. But because my buddy, big time high roller at the win, bets thousands of dollars a hand at the baccarat table, they know them all. Every pit boss knows them. Things get to slide a little bit.
Yeah, when you're a high roller, you get away with a lot more. You know, you see these eccentric guys come down in their robes and play like a baccarat. That's not going to fly a lot of times at other things and, you know, getting away with certain things. A robe is not really a big deal, but I've seen them in, you know, high limit and then asking very for some really stupid things to have and being able to do things. You said it. So certain people are allowed to play baccarat. You're looking at the cards, you're bending them, you're even ripping them. Certain places don't allow you to rip their cards, but it doesn't matter. If you're a certain level of player, you can rip them. You can, as long as you don't throw them off the table purposely, you can do things like that. Myself, I've always been a really quiet gambler. My friends call me the best loser of all times. Like I take losses with a grain of salt. There's no emotion. It's very hard to do. I understand it. Trust me. I was a gambler before. I really don't feel I'm that much of a gambler now. But I was a gambler in my early, especially my teens, giant gambler. I was gambling over my head. It was crazy. You know, it took someone to shake me in my 20s and show me the right way in life, 30 years ago. But I was a gambler and I would literally play baccarat a lot. I was an underage gambler in Atlantic City. We all did. We all gambled when we were younger.
I find that really funny though, because like I am either your best friend at the blackjack table or your worst enemy. And there's really no in between. Ariel Epstein and I were just in Aruba and we had people flocking to our table because I was just on a great run and just being obnoxious the night that I was winning and we're having so much fun. And then there's other nights where people will get up and they walk away because they're like, oh no, is she going to freak out that I didn't hit my 15?
Kelly, it was just you and Ariel at the table?
At first, yes.
Yeah, they're flocking to the table because they see two cute blondes. This is not because you're making noise. Come on, give it a break.
Well, also because there's me and I'm yelling for the waitress to bring me a $1 beer because I didn't know what it was called, but I said it tasted like $1 because it was awful. And just, your energy, I think, while you're gambling says a lot. Like if you're in a bad mood gambling, or if you are a shitty loser, like I am sometimes, the table starts to turn. So I say whenever I lose 3 hands in a row, I'm getting up, I'm moving to the next table. But it's tough, like when you're a sore loser like me, I find it very hard that you can just sit there in silence.
Kel, I hate when people abuse dealers and abuse people.
Oh, I would never abuse dealers.
No, I'm not saying, I know that. I'm just saying bad losers slam their hand. When's the next dealer getting at it? I can't stand that. Gamble like a man. Don't be a fucking, got me cursing.
You can say it.
No, but gamble like a man. Take your losses like a man. These kids don't know how to take losses right now.
Well, I usually tell them to take their 16 like a man, and they don't like that one either.
Yeah, no, I mean, seriously, you have the stones to bet all your money, and then you're going to take it out on staff or dealers or other players. The number one thing when a blackjack table, people get mad when you stay on 16 versus 10. Well, let me tell you something. If you're counting cards, 25% of the time you're staying on 16 versus 10. So you actually are mathematically favored to do that. But these other people that follow the strategy cards they give in the gift shop, which, by the way, if that was a winning strategy, they wouldn't sell them in the gift shop. So I can't take when people are bad losers. I don't really play blackjack because it gets me in trouble.
Well, I like to play when I'm with a group of friends, right? Like whether, like if it's me, Ariel, CT, let's say you were at the Westgate with us, Krack, sit down, play some hands with us. I like when it's like my group of people at the table, or one or two other people that you can tell know how to play. They're betting a similar amount to you. What I don't like is when I'm betting, like I like to sit at the higher price tables because I feel like it kind of gets out of gen pop, but not all of my friends want to bet $100 a hand or even $50 a hand.
You get better games though. Very good. You get better blackjack games anyway at the $100 table. You get better rules. Maybe they stance off 17. Maybe, that's 0.2%. It's not a lot, but in the long run, it means something. But maybe they, of course, pay 3-2. You don't want to play 6-5 blackjack. So 3-2 higher level games play 3-2. Maybe they have good double deck rules. And a lot of the places, even a higher, I know the Caesars properties at double deck, doesn't matter. They still don't let you double after splitting. Well, splitting is the reason why you get the double. So they're handheld double deck games. Maybe you don't even want to play. You want to check the rules first. And
I don't do automatic shufflers. I'm kind of over all that kind of stuff as well. Like I just need, maybe I'm just snotty in my gambling anymore, but it is because I understand the math. And I have talked to people who've played advantage blackjack and who have been very successful at it. And it's like, no, I don't need I know that if I sit down at a blackjack table, I'm going to lose, right? Almost with certainty. If there's other players there, if you're right, if it's 6-5, if it's an automatic shuffler, like you may have a run where you win 5, 6, 7, 10 hands in a row, but you should get the hell up because the longer you sit there, the longer your odds are you're going to lose.
Kel, the public should know this. I haven't said this in a while on the show. You all, that's right, you people watching, you're entitled to a casino host. I don't care what level you're playing. You're entitled to a casino host. Not just what the kiosk says. You go to the kiosk and it says you have $12 comp. There's a casino host officer, a casino host desk in almost every single casino. You're in that. Now you're going face to face with a host too, not a kiosk. It's much harder to say no in person. So you're entitled to go to a casino host, give your card, say you need a little something, maybe $50 to the coffee shop, whatever, the buffet, whatever it may be, where the kiosk is not going to tell you that. So, and another thing too, this is going to sound crazy. I just had a host say this to me. I can't even, most math people aren't going to even believe this, but let me tell you something. Touch a Bible that this just happened to me. So you take a player A or a player B. Player A goes to video poker and he plays 25,000 through the machine. Sounds like a lot of money. Believe it or not, if you're playing quarters or 50 cents or dollars, it's not hard to do in a couple hours. So volume-wise, put through the machine. So take player A. He plays for 2 hours, and he puts 25,000 through the machine. Now, take player B. He puts 25,000 through the machine, but he does it in 6 hours. He's a much slower player. He's relaxing. He's getting a waitress, getting a drink, getting a smoke, whatever he does. He's just relaxing, reading his computer, reading his internet a little bit on his phone. Player B gets so much more he gets recognized by certain hosts so much more than player A. He put the same volume through. It's supposed to go by your theoretical, which means your 25,000 theo, what it's worth to the casino for you to put that through. $800, $1,000. That's the theo you get your comp based on that theo. I just had a talk with a junior host. I let him talk. He said that I am not playing enough, but yet I was playing with somebody else that put through less volume than me, but she played in 5 hours. I played in an hour. Yeah, she got more. Now, he doesn't even know each other, but it's amazing sometimes these hosts, what they go by. You actually want to milk it and play slower at certain properties. The hours over time, they look at it and say, wow, this guy played a lot of time. This guy hit and ran. So it's amazing. Now, I knew this went on years ago, and I talk about it going on in certain places. It happened last week. It happened last week when I was in Atlantic City. This just happened. I couldn't believe it. So you want to get a host. You're entitled to a host. Just don't think because you only came in with a couple $100, you don't know how long you play. You don't. They want brand recognition and loyalty. And you know what else? Sometimes in these host meetings, they realize that, especially the seniors and stuff, they don't want them going back to their clubhouse in their retirement community saying, this place didn't give me a comp. This place did that. Listen, a comp of $50 only cost the casino $20. So it's only costing them $20 for goodwill and for good advertisement. You just have to get a good host. That's what you need. And guess what? I don't mean to say this, but I'm blunt. I want a male host. I don't want a female host. I want a male. I want a guy that knows what it is to lose a paycheck, knows what it is to gamble. I don't want a girl out of college that never gambled before that just looks at the computer screen and gives you a percentage of. And now, granted, if she gambles, I'll ask her even. If she gambles, I want to talk to her. But most men, they know what it is to lose a paycheck. They know what it is to gamble and be in the pitch there and the pulse of the casino floor themselves. So they're more apt to give you a little bit more than someone that doesn't gamble.
Krack, this kind of just spun off because that's kind of how the show goes. I start with something and next thing you know, we go down some rabbit hole. So my dad's little bar outside of Gainesville, tons of veterans. I met a woman there a couple of weeks ago. I was playing just some of the they're god awful. I sit here and say I don't want to play blackjack because I know I'm going to lose. I know I'm going to lose the pull tabs. I know I'm going to lose. They're little, but every once in a while you win and it's fun and you buy a round of drinks for the bar. She was telling me that the casinos in Biloxi, a couple of different ones, are offering like insane things, like direct flight from Gainesville to Biloxi, $39 hotel room plus $100 in free play. Should we be looking at some of these like smaller places? Like we used to always joke that we're going to go down to Bullhead City and, go to the casinos down there. And it is true. You talk about casino hosts. We're down there coming from Vegas playing $100 a hand drunkenly at a random casino. And you've got hosts swarming you, wanting you to stay and give you an extra comp room for the night. Like Vegas just doesn't really offer those things to the average, I would say, gambler anymore. But she told me usually her trips to Biloxi, she brings $3,000 or $4,000 in cash. And usually she doesn't win on the machines, but every once in a while she'll hit a jackpot or two and they keep bringing her back.
Yeah, it's amazing you're talking about this. I don't think I've ever talked about this on a show. The value is Laughlin. The value is there's another casino area about 90 minutes away. They have good spas and Mesquite. There's a Mesquite. Your dollar goes a lot farther in those properties. You're respected much more. And these, especially if you live in Vegas, you're driving over there. You're going there for a couple of days. Especially Laughlin, you're actually given a lot more value for the dollar over there. They respect the gamblers more there. Their numbers are doing phenomenal, by the way, compared to Las Vegas. They have made more money month over month, and which Las Vegas actually stayed at a lull for a while. So yes, you're better off going to places like that. You said Bullhead.
Sorry, Bullhead's Arizona, Laughlin's Nevada. Yeah, I apologize.
And it's nice to go. I was just going to say, I take there's a little bridge right over to Bullhead there. I was just at dinner there recently. I was with Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas and I went to dinner at. We went to breakfast. Oh boy, Black Bear. There's a Black Bear diner right across the bridge there, and he had a boxing event there, and we went, and I love taking those little rides, those around. I like believe it or not, I like the ride. I like driving into Laughlin when you come around this curve of the mountain. It's like, look at this little city out of nowhere you've been driving. And I always think of Sam Kinison when I'm driving that drive, because Sam Kinison was on his way to do a show, and he got hit by a drunk driver and got killed on the way there. Unfortunately, I like that old comedians like him. But yeah, you do get some value there. And let me tell you something else. Talking about when you're going there, you could actually call there and call the host office and tell them, hey, I'm a player in Vegas. If you're coming there with, like you said, 3,000 or 4,000, that's giant for Laughlin. So if you're coming there with that, maybe you make a plan. He'll give you a free room based on your play. These hosts have other areas that they can call and check on your play. So if you're that kind of a player, maybe they can give you an offer there. You could stay for free, maybe even get that, like you said, that free play that was in Biloxi. I recently, 6 months ago, I got some offer from MGM. I've never even played. They have a beautiful casino down there. I can't think of the name of it, but MGM has a beautiful casino in Biloxi. It reminds me of like a little Bellagio. It's so cool. And I got this offer out of nowhere to get $5,000 in free plays. Yeah, $5,000 in free play. I was like, wow, that's unbelievable. So it was actually March of last. I know what it was. It was March 31st and April 1st. Here's what I did. I had the offer for 3 different months. I missed the first month. I couldn't go down there. But I went for March, and I had 5,000 in free play. Again, the next day, it started again, 5,000 in free play. So, like, my wife thought I was nuts. She goes, you're getting on a plane for 24 hours? Yes. By the way, Breeze Airlines has a nonstop flight from Las Vegas to Gulfport, which is real close to Biloxi. And it's a nonstop flight. I love Breeze Airlines anyway. Their first class is unbelievable for 1/3 of the cost of any other airlines. So I went there, and I wind up making, like, after expenses and everything, after airfare, after rental car, I made like $6,000 for 24 hours. So it was, I played through the money, gave them a little bit of a play. Of course, they never sent me nothing again. They didn't like me walking away with $6,000, but that was a deal. Maybe Biloxi, they had deals at the time through BetMGM, because I was playing on BetMGM. I play a lot of money on BetMGM. So that's the reason why they gave me that offer. I was never even there. So that shows you, though, I was in Biloxi, but never at that casino. I like Biloxi. I like driving.
I've never been. And so now I'm like, my brain is intrigued. It's like the Las Vegas of the South.
Yeah, I like it. I liked it there. There's a lot of places there. There was a lot of bonuses, a lot of deals in the beginning there. And if you see me playing in a casino, if you see me playing dice or baccarat or something, I'm getting a deal. I'm getting some walk-in money. I'm getting a deal. Recently in California, they gave me I lost. You don't always win. I'm not talking about always winners here. I had a casino that had an extra seat on a G5, I think it was called here. Me and my friend Paul went to a casino above San Francisco called Graton, Graton. They had a deal. He said, hey, if you put a certain amount up, we'll give you $5,000 in free play. So yes, I brought a cashier's check for a large amount of money, put it in the cage. They have no chance of beating me out of that. It's the allure of them putting it there. But I did get them action because I lost $8,000. I actually lost the $5,000 they gave me and $8,000. It can happen, absolutely. But if you give them that, and then I still got some deals in the mail. They gave me $2,000. I see a $2,000 offer. I'm not going to fly there for that, but there is some other offers that I can call. You can talk to the host. California, I was at Viejas Casino. They made me a great deal. They gave me a deal where they gave me a $50,000 credit line. I put a $50,000 cashier check up. I had to put more than that, by the way, the Graton one. But a cashier check, and they gave me $5,000 in free play. I beat them. I ran lucky there, and I beat them in 2 trips for about $40,000. I'm not even allowed back in. I guess I'm allowed back in. Like, they got so mad at me. Like, the casino host was nasty to me on the phone. Like, sometimes these places, they're amazing. They only go by win-loss, too. So, if you lose, you're welcome. Then come on in. We'll give you everything you want. When you win, forget about it. You're treated like a stone cold criminal. It's unbelievable.
It's almost like you want to lose right out of the gate. So we went on a Virgin cruise in February, last week of February, right before March Madness started. And I had gotten a call from my former casino host. He worked at Caesars. And he's like, hey, I'm working for a couple cruise lines now. I'm a casino host. do you want to come on a cruise? And I said, no. Why on planet Earth? I hate cruises. I've been on one in my life. I went on a Carnival cruise when I was in college because you could drink it, 18, 19, whatever the international water rules are.
Sure.
And it sucked. Well, guess what? The Virgin Cruise didn't, because there's no kids. It's fun. All the alcohol is included, everything. And I said, all right, I want 5 rooms. And I go, I'm going to bring some gamblers with me. Not as big of gamblers as me, but I'm going to bring Ariel. I'm going to bring our neighbors. I'm going to bring some of Brett's friends. We had 5 rooms lined up. They opened up the whole patio. We had a great time. I lost, Krack. I was the only one that lost on that trip. I think I ended up losing like 6 or 7 dimes in total. But I was down bad the first like 3 or 4 days. And he texted me and said, how are you doing? And I go, I'm glad I paid for everybody's cruises 3 times over. So now I feel like every week I get a new email. I'm not going to go on another cruise. It's football season, whatever. I got one for next summer to get a free. Now I can only get 1 room. I asked for 2. He said, I can't probably get you 2. Let me get back to you. But I got a free European cruise.
Wow, that's nice.
Next summer. And I'm like, how much money do I have to post up? And he said, nothing. You don't have to post up anything. Bring cash just like you did last time. And we want to comp you a nice cabin on this this cruise. You can pick Spain or Greece. And so I think I might take advantage of it because I already paid for it. And in my mind, do you think that there's like something to that, Krack? Like where you ignore some of these companies? Like I said, like they kept sending me emails, kept texting me, whatever. And then it was just like, boom, here's a really nice thing you might want to do.
I've never went on a cruise before. I get tons of offers. I got my mail sitting over on the bench here. I have cruises every year I don't go on. I get 3 or 4 a year. When I was 7 stars at Caesars, they gave me one all the time. Station still gives me one. I don't know why they threw me out of the sports book, but they still throw me. I'm not allowed to bet on the app, but they give me one. By the way, for using my brain, not for doing anything wrong. But the cruises are a big business where people actually go on cruises and they go there based on their casino play somewhere. The one I want to go on though, I eventually will. I can't go during football, basketball. The Adriatic Sea. That's the one I wanted to look at this offer. Literally, you go from it's unbelievable. You go all the Italy places.
The east side of Italy and Croatia, correct?
Croatia, correct.
Yeah.
Bosnia, Herzegovina, Montenegro. Wow. This is an unbelievable cruise that you go on, and it's a gambling boat. So it's a gambling boat, and like I said, I would love to go on this one if I ever decide to go on a cruise. It's a free cruise. Free play. The host used to work at Hard Rock here. He was a director. He now works for this big cruise line, and he offered me that multiple times, but all different cruises through Mexico, through the Bahamas. I turned him down on that, but this is the one I'd like to see. I'd like to go to Alaska too, believe it or not. I've never been there. I'd like to go on a cruise, one of those. And like I said, they're free, but my brain just works as I have to have Wi-Fi. I have to have it,
we had all that. Actually, we're sitting in the casino. This is when I was actually hanging out with my friends, not being a complete and utter jackass and high limit, because I had started to make some of my money back. So I was like, all right, leave the high limit room, stack some cash, go hang out, be social, have a couple margaritas. You can go back to high limit when your dealer comes back or whatever. And the games had just tipped off, and they had them all over the casino. We had Wi-Fi that was perfect. I was able to work the whole time. I'm honest. I was very impressed with the Virgin Cruise. I'm very impressed, which is shocking for me.
Yeah.
But I will say this, like, I really feel like if you are a gambler and a lot of people think you need to be loyal to a casino or you need to be loyal to a host. I actually think the opposite. I think kind of what you said is call some of these places up. Say, hey, feel free to check out my play. Here's where I'd like to play. I'd love to come to your casino and check it out. I'd love to try somewhere different. And you'd be surprised what these places are willing to offer you.
Some of these cruise lines you don't want to go on, though. So just be careful. You can see on Twitter and stuff, these cruise lines with the fights and, No.
I'm talking like high-end cruise, adults only, no kids throwing ice cream by the pool. You're not fighting over chairs. Like, no. That's
maybe someone in the comments that's more experienced with cruises than me, and even Kelly. Maybe they could tell you the best ones. I don't know if it's Royal Caribbean or Virgin. If you could tell us the good cruise lines compared to of course, the bad cruise line, like Carnival cruises.
No. That's what I went on in college. I wouldn't recommend it even for a college student.
No way. Before we get out of here, Kel, we have to talk about the carnage of what happened this past week in the NFL. Sports books all over the city rejoicing, giving out bonuses early to the sports book guys. You know, usually they give away a little skinny turkey or chicken. They're giving away a ham and a $25 gift certificate now to the employees of the sports books. I heard they're upping their game. Very nice of them. But yeah, they have won so much money. Thursday, Friday, that 24-hour period, one of the most successful days ever for sports books nationwide. Everyone putting in, enhancing their parlays. Moneyline Eagles, that's easy. Moneyline Baltimore, this is easy. Chasing their losses, trying to get out. Denver moneyline may have helped a couple of them last night, but laying the points certainly did not. More carnage. Sportsbooks absolutely killing it. And it's the NFL. It's so tough to beat NFL sides. I talk about it all the time. And you know, I'm player props is where I'm at. Had another good week over at Wager Talk, by the way. Week after week, I mean, really, you know, seeing some success here. Last week, again, plus 12.4 units. College basketball, 11-7. College football, 4-3. NBA and NFL props, one a quarter of a unit. But that's usually where the money is for me, more than NFL sides.
All right, Krack, then tell me what you got going on for Monday Night Football, because I feel like now that the Patriots, I've got 3 teaser legs with the Patriots. They're now down below that teaser spot. I feel like that is going to be what everybody does. They're going to money line the Patriots tonight, put them in money line parlay starting with the next week's games. I don't know what to make of this game. I have to cheer for the Patriots just to win at this point. Do you see anything from a props perspective that our audience needs to know about?
I didn't send out anything yet. I sent out a college basketball game I like, and I told people to buy it. That's free, by the way. You want to buy onto the 3, onto the 2 in college basketball. It's a very key number, as long as your book charges you an extra 10 cents. But as far as tonight's game goes, listen, there were 7.5s, even an 8 popped up here in town on this game. Now it's 7s across the board. There's a 7.5 minus 22, I think. You know, I see them. I'm looking at the lines offshore, but that's like a teaser protection line they put up. They go to 7.5, or this way they charge more for the teaser if you're going to bet it there. But however, this game, I'm not betting either side, but I have to lean towards these dogs in the NFL all year long. You know, this is one of those, especially this past week. But you don't have to bet just because the game's on TV. You don't have to bet these sides or even the totals. And if you want to get ahead of next week's lines, you know, you want to bet these things now. If you think you know which ways the lines are moving, you want to get ahead of the lines. Put it this way, Cal. Look what happened here. I said it earlier on the show. The Lions, the Bills, and the Chiefs were the 3 teams favorite to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season. So now you have the Broncos the favorite, and you literally you can make bets on.
Hey, shout out to your buddy John Orlando for that.
Yeah, I got to hear it from him this week. So yeah, BetMGM, Caesars, I think the DraftKings and FanDuel all put up these lines every week. Will a team make the playoffs? Yes or no? Well, look at these 3 teams that were favorite. Buffalo is still minus 160. Yes. However, look at the Lions and Detroit. They're pick 'em. Minus 110 to make the playoffs. That's how bad these teams have done this year. But by them doing that bad, the books have literally done great. So just want to tell people you don't have to bet NFL games just because they're on TV. And we want to give a shout out over there to Superbook for having 105 juice on these primetime games. Sunday, Monday, Thursday night, 105 instead of 110. BetMGM has 105 on Thursday night, 102 an hour before the game. So there is still some bargains here.
That's interesting. So they only do that for the 1 hour up until kickoff. Is that on the app or over the counter?
On the app. 102 juice, though. That's unbelievable. Minus 102. I know most people don't care about juice. And
no, they should absolutely care about juice.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. I think we've said enough for this week. A lot of casino stuff for you. I just told my assistant before. I said, listen, I have no idea what I'm going to be talking to Kelly about today. I did. And then sure, I said, but she's great. She'll get me onto a subject. There you have it.
I love it. Well, I think the casino stuff is just a ton of knowledge, and it has a long shelf life. Anybody should be doing this kind of stuff. I actually am going to text Linda as soon as I get off here and say, okay, text your host. Here's my information. See what they can give us in Biloxi. Maybe we can get a little tiny prop plane sent from Gainesville for us.
Nice. Well, there you have it.
Thanks, Krack. Have a great week, guys.
Thanks, everybody.